Hello everybody, welcome. Hello? How many of you speak English? Three people, okay. So 3 people are going to understand. Everyone else, just look at the picture. I guess you're getting simultaneous translation, yes? It works well? With a delay? There is a thread sleep, or there's no thread sleep? Okay, so I'm going to give you tips and tricks on IntelliJ. The idea is that you learn to use it more efficiently when you're writing code. To do that, I need to get a little bit of an idea of who you are. You're all developers, yes? Oh, I love this. I love it. You're finally responsive. How many of you are using IntelliJ? How many are using this? It's okay. It's okay. We're all friends. How many are using NetBeans? Did I see one person put up their hand? Okay, don't be shy. What about Vim? Emacs? Okay, so now the Vim people can stop fighting with the Emacs people. Now you know who you are, okay? Right. So let's see how we can hopefully I'll convince you that you can all switch over to IntelliJ. By the way, if you're not familiar with IntelliJ, we have 2 versions. We have the open source community edition, which is completely free and open source. And then we have the ultimate one, which is our commercial offering. Most of the stuff that I will show you today is available in the community and open source edition too. There are some things that won't be. And I'm going to group this by different areas. I'm going to do some things around navigation, then I'll show you some things around code analysis, a few refactorings, and then a few other tools and tips and tricks. First and foremost, if you do use our products, I recommend, if you don't, you start doing it. But there's a little thing over here which is called JetBrains Toolbox, which is brand new. It's completely free. You can download it, and from here you can install, uninstall, update, roll back all of the different products that we have. And you can even pass in settings. So you can come to settings and say, set the maximum heap size, which is very useful if you have many large projects, for instance, and you're running into issues in terms of memory with IntelliJ. And you can do that obviously through the virtual machine options, but now we make it simple. Okay? Now, I'll start with something really, really important. This is probably the most important thing that you'll see today. Okay? And I want you to pay very, very, very close attention. Watch this. I'm going to put greater and equal. Look at that. You see that? Whoa. And now watch. Whoa. 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 That's as good as it gets. So, that is actually, if you see it in the code, because you might be wondering what that is, that's font ligatures. You can now go and you can enable font ligatures, and then you can install Fira code, and then you get that. The second most important thing you're going to learn today. How many of you are working in Java Enterprise? Quite a bit, right? How many of you are working at a startup? Not many? Okay, so now everybody can feel like they're working at a startup. Watch. You go and you set a background image, right? And I'm going to select the background image I have here. Now you're all working at a startup, okay? Because you have your little unicorn in the background. I will take her away because she got distracted, or I will make her a little bit orphan. I don't know if it's a girl or a boy unicorn. Okay, so let's start. at the very beginning, because that's a very good place to start. Right. So here's a couple of things I'm going to show you. At the bottom of the screen, right above this, you're going to see a little green thing pop up, right? And that is called Presentation Assistant. And it's a plugin that you can install if you go to plugins and you go to browser repository and you say Presentation Assist and Assistant, and you can install that. And what that does is basically give you the whatever keyboard I press, it's going to show you there. And you can configure it to show you the two keyboard bindings. So I'm using the Mac OS X. If you're using Windows or Linux, you can see the one in brackets. So Command O for me or Command P would be Control P in Linux. Okay? Command O is your favorite feature, which is to look up a specific type. So I can write extract functional parameter, and you can see that I get extract functional parameter. Okay, that's go to type, which you're all familiar with. You know that you can do EFP, which gives you the camel case completion as well. You don't have to actually type the whole thing. So I can do, for instance, J8R, and that would take me to the same thing, but in the class. I press Shift Command P at the bottom. Okay? Now if I put JIHR10, for instance, that's going to take me to line 10 of that specific file. Okay, so Command O goes to type, Shift Command P goes to actual file. You can also put a brackets here, slash, and you can also go to the actual folder, right? Now you also have Alt Command O, which goes to a specific member. So I could do something like ID, and that will take me to anything that has ID. Let's say that I want to go to the ID field of the class order. I could go to order, right? And then from here, press Command 7 to get my structure window, and then go ID, and navigate to all of the different IDs. But that's not the most efficient way you should do it. What you do is you go Alt Command, and then you write order.id. And what that's going to do is going to filter down by the class and then the actual ID. So when you have many, many things that are called the same thing, you can use the name, the class filtering to get to that thing. So I can do something like get ID as well, and that will take me down to order get ID. Okay? Often when I'm somewhere, for instance here, I want to see the declaration of a different type. So I could come to the type and I can press Command B to take me to that type, right? The problem is that what that happens is that sometimes you lose the context. So you're now switching over to something else, and all you want to do is see something quickly. For that, always use Command Y. Command Y gives you a small pop-up which shows you all of the definition of the actual type that you're on, and then you can quickly press Escape and go back to where you are. Okay, and you don't need to switch back and forth between the different files. Then you have things like, if I go to customer repository, I can press Alt Command V to see the different file inherited types. So I can say, for instance, MongoDB customer, and that will take me to that. And notice that anywhere in any window where you are, you can actually search. So if I'm here, if I write multi-line expressions, again using camel case, that will take me to multi-line expressions. Okay? Now some of the things that I've shown you here, you can actually do by pressing the key double shift. Right? How many of you know that that keyboard combination exists? Double shift? Right. For those that don't, watch this. This is the default screen that you get when you get IntelliJ. Do you see that thing there? Right? And we have people using IntelliJ for like 4 years, and they're like, "Ooh, double shift? I didn't know double shift existed." Which means nobody reads this. Nobody. So double shift gives you basically a lot of the functionality that I've shown you in a single keyboard shortcut, right? So I can do, for instance, order, and you can see that it shows me a bunch of groups. I have recent files, classes, files, etc. So it's combining all of the different things where order is, and I can press Tab to go to the different segments, okay? Now it also shows me, if I say, for example, Kotlin, it's going to show me even preferences. If I don't want certain things, I can click on the little gearbox here and switch it off. So for instance, I don't show actions. I have that switched off, right? You can also do search history lookup. If you press the left key, you can look up all of the different things that you have done previously in search everywhere. You can also switch things on and off. So let's say I have show navigation bar, and I can hit enter and switch on the navigation bar, right? And then hit enter again, and I can switch it off. Okay. And then you can even set settings. So if I want to change something in the editor, I can go to settings, I can go to editor, and then on the editor I can look for, where is it? Over here, and then I can come here and say, okay, blah, 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 appearance, show right margin, right? Now there's a faster way to do that also. You can just say show right margin, and it will show it to you, right? But you can even do that from search everywhere. Right? I just go double click, and then I get a bunch of options appear, editor, and then I can do show right margin on and off. Okay? So that's a much faster way to set do settings as well. And then you can also invoke actions. So Shift Command A is very useful when you want to invoke an action that you're not familiar with. You don't know the keyboard shortcut. So if I say rename, that's going to take me to rename, and it's going to show me that rename is Shift F6. And I can actually invoke the action, right? Shift Command A. It's your best friend. After double shift, it's your best friend, okay? Now this also allows me to do things like, for instance, let's say I write test, there's a little thing I don't know if you're familiar with, but it's test RESTful web service, right? Which brings up this little box over here, which I'll show you later on, which allows you to do post, get, put, delete to your HTTP endpoint, kind of like a Postman plugin in Chrome, right? Now, I don't want to every time have to write test RESTful web service. I want to write something like web service and immediately get that up. I can even do that. If I go to key map over here, and I look for test RESTful web service over here, there's a little option. You know what the keyboard shortcut does, you know what the mouse shortcut does. There's also one called abbreviation. And I can add an abbreviation called WS, right? And once I do that, and if I know how to do it properly, now, if I write WS, I get that up, okay? And I get it up in the action invoker, and I get it up in search everywhere. And I can quickly navigate to that, okay? So, a couple of other things. I am on a file called drop file. Now I go over, for instance, to order item. You notice that the project doesn't align with the file I have open, right? I'm in one file and this is pointing to somewhere else. I can automatically get that to do it if I enable auto scroll from source. So now, if I go, for instance, to order service, you can see that it jumps. But that's a pain. I don't want to do that. And it irritates me that it jumps because I don't always want to have it aligned. So what you can do is in key map again, we've added a new entry which is called select in project view. And I've set the shortcut Control Alt L. And what that does is, let's go for instance to order. You can see that it doesn't hit. And if I press Control Alt L, it will find it for me in the project view, which is also very helpful. If I'm here, if I want to create a file, in fact, I can just do File New, but I'll show you a better way in a minute. Okay? Now notice something else that I don't have. Can anybody tell me what I don't have in my editor? Every time I change a file, see what happens? I get a single tab, right? There's a thing called Editor Tabs. And Editor Tabs has a lot of options that you can configure. You can set the tablet. You can say where you want to show the close button. All of these, it's beautiful. So many options. Do you know what you should do with it? You should switch it to none and disable Editor Tabs. Okay? And forget about all of those options. Because tabs is very inefficient for navigation. It's probably one of the most inefficient things in an IDE that provides you with proper navigation. Everything that I've shown you already, you can use to navigate. But you can also navigate back and forth through files easily by pressing Command E. Command E goes to the recent edit, to the recent file. And here I can say order item, and take you to order item. And if I hit Command E again, it will take me to the toggles between the two that I was. Now sometimes you're doing something like MVC, and you're using like the finally view or whatever, and you want to toggle back and forth through these two things. Instead of pressing Shift Command E, you can press Shift Command E, which takes you to the recent edits, right? And then you can constantly toggle back and forth. Well, I haven't edited another file here. Let me edit this one. And now I can toggle back and forth to the two files that I've been editing. So use that, because with tabs you end up with 100 tabs and you don't know which one it is, and you spend a lot of time with the mouse looking for the different tabs. The best thing you can do with a mouse in IntelliJ IDEA is never use it. Okay? That's the best thing you can do with a mouse. And in fact, if you're using Chrome, there's a plugin for Chrome that I use which does the exact same thing. If you look for an extension called IntelliJ, it does the same thing. It provides you that recent tabs, and you can navigate through that quickly as well. So it's quite useful. Okay? So that's a little bit in terms of navigation. Oh, and by the way, if you want to navigate back and forth quickly, you can also use the left square brackets, Alt command, and the right square brackets. Okay? Now let's see some things around editing. So first and foremost, when you want to edit, especially if you're coming from something like Vim, and you end up with an editor like this, it's kind of like a pain, right? Because you're like, where do I write my code? This is very painful. And you can come here and you can switch each of these off, or quickly toggle between editing and non-editing mode by pressing Shift Command F12. And that just gets rid of absolutely everything. Okay, and if I hit it again, it will bring back my window, right? I can even take it one step further and say go into distraction-free mode. Okay, and that will completely remove even those side gutter things, right? So I get absolutely nothing. I can obviously always bring back those windows, but otherwise I don't get anything. Then there's also presentation mode, which allows me to make everything much bigger, which is very good, for instance, if you're doing some code review with your colleagues, etc. Just focusing directly on the code. Okay? When you're in editor mode, you can also open up a second window, and then here, for instance, have another file and drag this across to another screen. Okay? Inside, while I say you don't do all the tab things, you can also have editor tabs though. So I can come here and say split this vertically, right? And then if I get rid of the project structure, and let's say for instance I have my tests on one side and I have my code on the other side, so very useful. And here I can do another editor, split horizontally, and then again, go as much as I want. Okay? So, more things around editing. When you're selecting code, don't go like this. No. And don't go like this. No. Select code. If you want to select a line, use extend and shrink selection, which is in command, is Alt cursor up or Control W, and Shift Control W or Alt down. Okay? And it's context aware. So if we go to something bigger, so let's say order item, you can see that if I'm on a method and I select the method name, then it selects the method body, which is kind of normally what I want to do. If I'm on a class, it selects the class name, then the body, and then the entire package. Okay? And when you're selecting code and you want to move it up and down, don't do this. Because normally what happens when you do that, you come to paste and instead you press Control X and now your clipboard contains an empty line. If that happens, press Shift Command V and you get your clipboard history back. Okay? You get all the things that you copied. But if you want to move lines, you just select the line and then you use the cursor to move up and down. Okay? You get that? Okay. Good? Good. Are you still awake? Very early in the morning. Have you learned anything?
Yes.
No? Who said no? Someone said no. Okay, I will find you. And by the way, don't move code around when you're trying to order things. Like, don't do that. You can press reformat code to do that, right? Alt command, and that reformats the code for you. So if I come here, I can reformat code. And you can rearrange code as well. And in fact, the best way to do that is when you're using the VCS settings and you do rearrange code and reformat code on checking. And that will do it for you automatically. Okay? So the actual VCS integration with IntelliJ is pretty sweet. And it's independent of the version control system you're using. Obviously, if you're using Git, for instance, it offers you specific functions. If you're not, then a lot of the other things are compatible. And in fact, we have a new thing here which is called unversion files, which is very useful because it tells me files that I haven't put into staging, for instance. Okay? And when you want to reformat code, IntelliJ follows the settings that you provided. So if you go to editor code style, over here you can see Java, and then you can sit through this and spend hours and hours of your time adjusting your code to perfection, if you have nothing better to do. A much better way to do that is, let's say I'm here and I want to kind of format the code. Alt enter, adjust code settings. What IntelliJ does is pick up what's available in that specific context, and then let me play with those things. So you can see that it allows me to specify that, and then it will save that as part of the actual settings. Okay? It's a much easier way to adjust your code settings. Now, when you're writing code, you can press, first of all, if you're in the project structure, you can press new, command N, to create a new file. Don't ever go to file new, because it's just too slow. So I say command N. But now I'm in the project structure. What happens if I'm here and I want to create something on the refactoring? So if you have the navigation bar enabled, right, and if I'm on persistence, now I can come here and go to, okay, use the mouse and go to JetBrains and say navigation here, and then hit command N there to create a file. The problem is that, again, I have to use the mouse. So navigation bar, switch off. Anywhere you are, you can invoke the navigation menu, navigation bar. And then from here, use the mouse, navigate, and say from here, I want to create a new file. Okay? And we also have this concept of scratch files. And scratch files are basically the ability to create a file that isn't attached to your project, but does provide all of the features of IntelliJ. So if I create a Java file here, I get completion, etc., but it's not attached to my actual project. So let's write some code. We're going to write a customer, right? A customer class. Now, in order to write proper Java code, can anybody tell me what's wrong with this? It's wrong. It's not a customer class. For it to be Java, it has to be a customer class factory, because everything in Java wants a factory. Right. Okay. PSVM, public static void main. And by the way, that is live templates, right? Which you have under live templates, and you can create your own. So that one was in other, and I have PSVM, and you can have placeholders. So now when I do completion, I say buffered reader new, and I get absolutely everything regarding completion. The problem is that often I don't want to do this. I don't want to create any type. I only want to be able to create types that actually implement my interface or my class. So I can do that by using smart completion, shift control. And that's shift control space. And that's the actual completion you should be using, the smart completion. Okay? So I say buffered reader, then new file reader, blah blah, dot text. Did you notice this? Suddenly popped up. In Java, you don't have named parameters. So sometimes when you have many parameters, it becomes confusing what is what. Instead of invoking command P, IntelliJ now gives you these hints. right? Which you can switch off if you like. So, where am I? Let's go there. What's wrong with this? Oh, we need to try catch, which those are surround functions. So now let's assume that buffered reader could potentially mean no. And I write, if not no, then do something. Right? Now I've got to remember to do that. What happens if I forget? What if I start to write buffered reader and I say, oh, I forgot to wrap that in a null? You can use postfix templates, not null. Right? And that allows you to wrap something using a postfix template. Okay? Now, that's smart completion. There's also hippie completion. How many of you know what hippie completion is? Okay, so that one person that said they haven't learned anything, now you will learn something. Right? That shows me everything. And if I do out, you see it alternates through everything that's with D. But that's not all. String something equals T, and now watch this. It even provides completion from string input value. Okay? And by the way, if you want to insert a semicolon, don't ever come here and press semicolon. What you do is you press Shift, Command, Enter. Why? Because it's much better to press 3 keys as opposed to 1. Okay? But jokes aside, the reason is that because this you can do anyway. I don't have to come to the end. How many of you write JSON code? How many of you write JSON? Okay. How many of you know what JSON is? It's a diagram. Okay. So I write some JSON. Let's write some JSON. This is going to be fun. Open curly braces, quotes, that didn't work, all because I got to escape the quotes, and now another quote, and then name, colon, no, I need the quote, and then a quote, and then, okay, and then, no, I got that one. Paint, right? Come to the string, Alt, Enter, inject language reference, JSON, okay? That has now become a JSON string. Alt, Enter, edit JSON fragment. Okay? So I've been speaking for half an hour, and that's the first time you've laughed. I should have started with that. Now, the good thing is that it's a JSON, so if I do something like that, it's going to tell me that it's incorrect. Okay? And we've got this for other things as well, regular expressions. Here, I have a regular expression. I say inject language reference, regular expression. That now becomes a regular expression. Okay? And in fact, I can even do a check of a regular expression. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. That doesn't match. Why? Because that's checking to see that that's a valid Visa card, and a Visa card starts with the number 4. So as soon as I put a 4 in there, that perfectly matches. Okay? This is a regular expression. I press Control Space, no suggestions. Alt Enter, regular expression. I now get completion. Okay? Which is on the proof. Okay. Any questions? No? Wonderful. What else? Okay. Any questions? Yes. Okay, I'll get to that in a minute. So the question is, please show me how to use version control. We'll see that briefly at the end, okay? Advanced refactoring. Don't do any kind of refactoring manually, right? We have support for multiple cursors. So I can do something like this, okay? I can come here and start to set multiple cursors everywhere and start to mess up my code, right? Don't do that for doing copy-paste refactoring or anything like that. Use the refactoring options that we have built in. Right? And some of them, believe it or not, people don't even know exist. So if I go to invert Boolean, right? Here, I've taken this Boolean and I want to invert it. Instead of saying it's valid, I want to say it's invalid. So invert Boolean and saying is not valid. it does it for me. It renames, but it also inverts the actual Boolean, and it changes the initialization value, right? For the Java 8 refactorings, you have Java 8. Java 8, right? How many of you doing lambdas in Java 8? Okay. If you're not familiar with lambdas that are now available in Java 8, IntelliJ helps you learn those things, right? You can see that I have a little link here that it says loop can be replaced with standard lib operation. If I hit Alt-Enter, it will replace it with a map, okay? And it's teaching you how to use Java 8 constructs and lambda expression, okay? The same thing here, replaced with a sequence, filter, and for each. Okay? Now, when you do these things, please also understand what you're doing. Because otherwise, sometimes you end up with code that is not readable and isn't that great, and then you kind of say, well, IntelliJ sucks because it makes my code unreadable. No, you have to understand what IntelliJ is doing. Okay? Now, in terms of analysis, all of this is actually analysis because IntelliJ is inspecting your code all the time. If I go to a code like, for instance, generate hash code, you can see that I have all of these little hints here. All of these are different inspections that IntelliJ offers, right? So here it says, do you want to create a getter setter or whatever, you know? These can be switched on and off. If you go to inspections, you can see all of the different things, right? Now, how do you create these inspections? We create them for you. There's over like 3,000 inspections. If you want to create your own, you can write a plugin. But sometimes you don't want to write a plugin and you want to do, like, check your code base for code smells, okay? Let's assume you have a new member on your team and you want to check to make sure that they don't do certain things. Like, for instance, try catch blocks that all they do is print out the stack trace. We've all been there, we've all seen it, it's not great. So what you can do is to search structurally. What I'm doing here is I'm using kind of like a search, but this is an actual valid code block, right? And I'm saying, look for this type of code. And what is statement? Statement can be anything until infinity. It could be any number of statements, okay? And I'm going to find this, and it's going to say, oh look, I found some code block here that matches that. And then you can go and you can manually fix it, right? However, what you can also do is to replace structurally. And you can say, sorry, do that. Replace structurally. And you can say, I want you to replace this with just a statement. And then you can go find, and it will find it, and then you can say replace selected. But again, this is a manual thing. The structural search is very powerful because it allows you to define the patterns that you want to search for. But it's still a manual thing. What you can do is you can actually tell IntelliJ to treat these as inspections. So that when someone writes this type of code, IntelliJ immediately notifies them. And you do that by going to inspections. This is one of the most powerful features of IntelliJ, by the way. You look for structural search inspection and you add a template. But I'm going to add a replace template, okay? And I'm going to say search for that, replace statement this. Add it, and I'm going to say don't use silly try catch blocks. And I'm going to say that this is a severe problem, okay? As soon as I enable that, look what happens. IntelliJ highlights this, right? Now when you hover over, it says don't use silly try catch blocks. And you see the little light bulb here as well, right? Alt enter, replace with system. Yeah. So structural search is giving you an extremely powerful way to search for code smells in your project by defining templates and even offering you the options to do a replace, do a quick fix, do an imitation. Okay? And that's available not only for Java, but it's available for a whole bunch of things like HTML, JavaScript, etc. Although the best thing that you can do with JavaScript is just delete it. The entire thing. How many of you love JavaScript? There's always someone that does. Anyway, I love JavaScript. I'm just joking. So one other thing that I'm going to show you. In terms of debugging, there's a lot of things that I could show you, but let me show you one thing that's very, very cool. Here, I'm going to debug, right? I'm going to, it's going to give me an error because I've got some code with errors. That doesn't, oh, look, it does. Now, you know that you can do, did I just stop it? That's close. And I'm going to set it. By the way, right click once in a while, hit more. It's great. It gives you a whole bunch of other options. Okay? Now here I have some value. Okay? I can evaluate expression. I can say, for instance, I want to get customer get first name plus customer get last name. Let's assume I want to evaluate that expression. Evaluate, it will give you the result. Jane, no. Right? But every time I want to evaluate that, I've got to do it again and again and again. What we added was the ability to do class level watches. So I can right click and say add new class level watch. Right? And then I can say full name, for instance, is get first name plus get last name. Right? And that will always be attached to that object. And every time I debug, I will see that at the class level. Okay, do you see it at the bottom? Right? One other thing that's also great is if you're marking objects. So let's say I'm debugging here, and I come to instance. I don't know what instance is. I have to now dig through the code because someone renamed it badly. I've got to dig through the code. What you can do is say mark object and say this is cars. And then it will always attach cars to that. So you can see exactly what it is. Okay? So, in terms of databases, if you hook up your completion, if you hook up your database, we've got so many features in terms of databases that now we've created a new product called DataGrid, which is focused around database development. But you can hook up your data sources. Once you hook up your data sources, all of those features of DataGrid, by the way, are intelligent. Then you get completion, right? So you get completion. I can even do refactoring. So if I do refactor this, it's not only going to change it there, but it's going to create the altered statements and in a DDL file for me to also update my database. Okay? And of course it will rename it in the actual database as well. So that you get when you hook up all of the data sources to the thing. Okay? Now in terms of version control. Version control, as I said, we have support for all different types of version control. Okay? As soon as I enable version control, I guess you can have Git, GitHub directly, Perforce, CVS, Subversion. How many of you use Visual Source Save? Okay. We don't have support for Visual Source Save. I'm sorry. You know what they say about Visual Source Save, no? That it's recommended for teams of less than one person. Okay? So for something like Git, you have absolutely anything that you could potentially think of. You have cherry picking, you have branch, you have three-way diffs, you have all of those different features. Okay? So what I normally do is, as you add files to your project, so I can add a new Java file, bada bing. Okay, it says to me, do you want to add this? It automatically tracks it. I say, don't remember, in most cases, it adds it. I can now do a commit, which is Control K. The commit shows me unversioned files, right? And that wasn't unversioned. So if I do that again, watch Java class, JavaScript file, something not new, right? And I say no, Command K, it should now show me that this one is actually not tracked, okay? So I can say, oh, add this. When you're actually doing the commit, as I mentioned, there's a whole bunch of things you can do. You can do reformatting of code. which means I reformat my code aligned with my code style. I rearrange my code. I optimize my import, perform code analysis. And then you have your little divs. And I can do a control V, right? And inside here, I can even edit stuff, right? I don't need to switch back out of the context to go into the editor to make a change. I can do it there and then. You also have three-way merges. So if I commit something that's changed on the server, it will prompt me with a three-way merge, right? Three-way diff, where I see the three panels and I can mix and match as I want and do all of the changes. When you're working with version control, there is a pop-up which is called VCS operations. And these VCS operations allow you to do pretty much anything that you like. So I've got all my version control here. The log is showing me all of the different branches. I can select any of these. I can right-click. I can do a cherry pick. I can right-click. I can do a diff on the file. Come here, do a diff on the file. Everything that you potentially can do from the console, you'll be able to do here. Create a new branch, so I can click here and say new branch, and that will create a new branch for me. Hit enter, check out the new branch. Okay? This control V, by the way, is pop-up that we have defined. Right? And if your version control is different, and you want certain operations grouped differently, obviously you can even create your own. You can go to quick lists over here. And you can create, for instance, I've created one called my refactoring, that I add a bunch of options. Rename, right? Rename file. And then I can go to key map over here and say my refactoring. And in my refactoring, give this shortcut key, right? My refactoring, whatever. There's so many shortcut keys, we don't have any. And then you can invoke that, right? So I do my refactoring, and I invoke my own menu. So you can create all of these different quick lists with the operations that you like. Okay? Don't have much time left. We've got 1 minute, and I want to finish off with something over here. If you go to this thing called Productivity Guide, right? How many of you have ever opened that? You probably think it goes to a web page, right? It doesn't. It goes to this dialog box, and it shows you all of the different features. Well, not all of them, but many features. But what it also tracks is how many times you've used it, right? So you can see that, you know, I've used this 1,234 times, and when was the last time that I used it? So this is very good in order to kind of give you insight into how you're using IntelliJ, right? And next time you have to justify it to your boss or your manager, why me IntelliJ? And they say, why? Say, look. Now multiply that by 12 minutes that it will take me to do that manually, and there you go. I just saved 5 days. Okay? So, thank you very much. If you want to learn more, go to our website. There's a bunch of webinars, and there's like 1.5 hour sessions of this. And oh, by the way, this project that you have that I've used here, it shows you one by one how to use these features. This is actually available on GitHub. GitHub.com/JetBrains/IntelliJ samples, and you can work through this yourself. Thank you.